All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Lorcana Academy. I am Airball. I am your tenured tryhard here on the faculty, and today we've got a pretty busy schedule. We're going to be playing some Ruby Amethyst Control on Pixelborn. Okay, so first things first, I guess we start at the beginning. What is Pixelborn and how can you play this yourself? Pixelborn is an unaffiliated with Disney, unofficial way to play Lorcana online digitally against other people. It's pretty slick. It's a little rough around the edges. There are some hiccups here and there. Some things in the UI are not perfectly intuitive, but for the most part, it runs very smoothly. It's been around for a few months now, and the queue times are pretty quick. So if you install this and play it, I've been finding that I can get a pairing within about a minute or so. And the advantages of this over paper are extensive, obviously. So obviously here you have access to literally every card in the client, and I'll go more into depth into what Pixelborn is in another video. But what's important to know is that you have access to literally every card in the client. You can build as many decks as you please. If you donate to their Patreon, the people who make the game, then you can get custom card backs and assorted other goodies. But the important thing is that there's a way to take your decks and share them and play them online. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Ruby Amethyst Control list that won the most recent Lorcana HQ tournament. So let's hop on over to that list and take a look at what we're trying to do. Okay, welcome to the Deck Tech. We are looking at the Ruby Amethyst Control list that won the recent Lorcana HQ tournament. And it is basically a classic control deck in the style that you'd expect from other collectible card games. For those of you who are new to those kinds of games in general and you've never played Control or don't know what I'm talking about, Control deck is a deck that is not trying to win immediately. A Control deck is trying to get the board under control, stop the opponent's plan, and then gain incremental value, make good trades as the game goes on, until eventually you're the only one left with resources and you can cast big creatures or big characters and win the game with their sheer power with the opponent not able to do anything. So it's a little different from the kind of decks that you might have played. Certainly if you played the starter decks, none of those are control decks. So this might be new to you. So I'll try to walk you through the general categories of what the deck is trying to do. So the first thing you need to do is basically just stay alive. And that means keeping your opponent from getting to 20 lore very quickly. And that means removing their resources. So we have a few ways to do that. The first is Minnie Mouse. Minnie Mouse is cheap, can be turned into ink, and can also challenge opponents' characters that they play early on. A good way to get on the board quickly. Gaston cannot quest, but can deal 4 damage in his challenges, and that is pretty powerful. So you play Gaston, the opponent is probably going to have to expose something to him, and he will eat them. Either trade 1 for 1, or he might even get to eat 2 things, depending on how the combat math works out. So Gaston's pretty great. And you also have Maui and Aladdin, which are basically bigger, badder versions of the same thing. Then we have ways to start to turn the corner, draw cards. And in Lorcana, it's very difficult to draw cards. There's not many ways to do it, and this deck contains most of the pretty good ones. So to do that, we have cards like the Queen, which is just an absolute monster of a card. 4/5, 4/5 is a pretty good rate already. Questing for 1 is kind of meh, but being able to tap to draw a card is pretty great. If the opponent can't deal with her immediately, then you're going to get multiple cards of value off of her, which is outstanding. Maleficent, even if they do have an answer, she'll come down and you'll draw a card off of her right away. So you'll get 2 cards for the price of 1 by playing her, or 2 for 1. So that's the way that you draw cards off of your creatures. Then you have your big bads that stabilize the board. You have Elsa, which is able to stun 2 opposing creatures when she comes into play. You can either do that for 8 ink or shift her onto an existing Elsa that you already have in play, depending on how much pressure the opponent is putting you on and how likely it is that you think they'll be able to remove remove Elsa. You might want to play her for her full 8 ink cost, even though you could play her for 6, because then 1 removal spell, 1 Dragon's Fire will not kill both of your Elsas. Maleficent, obviously, just outstanding. Big, dumb dragon that destroys another creature or another character when it comes into play. This is the lights out move, the haymaker, give him the chair, the WWE body slam play in the deck. That's exactly what you're trying to do to close the door. You have 2 copies of Mickey as well. Some decks just can't answer this. It quests for 4 and it's evasive. 5/5 is also pretty good if you just need him to get into combat himself. So those are that's the game plan. Basically, stay alive, draw cards, land big bad spell, big bad creature spell. We do have some utilities as well to make that a little easier. Befuddle slows down the opponent. You can bounce one of their cheaper permanents or one of their cheaper characters back to their hand, or you can bounce one of your own. If you have a Minnie Mouse in play that's taken damage, you can bounce Befuddle to your hand and replay the Minnie as a way to like remove the damage from her. Dragonfire just another way to remove opponent's creatures. 5 ink for just general purpose remove target big dragon is often pretty important, especially if the opponent isn't exposing that creature or that character to challenges. This gets around that. You want all 4 copies in your deck. Friends on the Other Side is excellent card draw, especially as a song. If you play Maleficence, the 3-drop creature, to draw a card immediately, she sticks around, and then you use her to sing this. The amount of cards you're swimming in is great. 4 copies of Be Prepared as well. So you can either hold off deploying your characters to the board and wipe the board when it's just your opponent's stuff in play, or you can play one of your big creature spells, big characters like Elsa, and have them sing this song for free so that you're the first one who gets to rebuild after the board wipe happens. It's a very flexible card in that way. And then you have a couple copies of Magic Mirror. Can't be turned into ink, so you don't want all 4, and you don't really want to have it early in the game. But it's the way in the mirror match, like when you're playing the mirror match. Get it? When you're playing against other control decks, this card is a house. Just a way to keep drawing cards. Make sure that you're not the first one to run out of resources. Ursula's Cauldron. Definitely a challenging card to play with. You don't want to make sequencing mistakes. You definitely want to use it before you draw your card for turn. But it does force you to put something to the bottom, so you can put yourself in challenging spots and have to put something that you don't want to put on the bottom with this card, and that can suck. So definitely a challenging card, especially on Pixelborn where you only have like a few seconds to make your choice. That is a challenging card for me to play with because I usually like to take my time. But yeah, pretty bog standard control deck. If you have questions about the deck's construction, I can try to answer them. Again, I didn't build it. This is one that was built by another by the winner of the tournament in Lorcana HQ. So, yeah. So, if you want to play this deck in paper, which I highly recommend, you can find the singles that you need for it with our sponsor, Coolstuffinc.com. If you head on over to Coolstuffinc, they will sell you everything you need from singles to sleeves to deck boxes to protect your cards if you go to a local tournament. And you can get all decked out in that way. So if you use code Academy at checkout, it lets them know that we sent you, and you get 5% off your order in that way. So if you'd like to support the content, that is the way to do it. You can also like and subscribe to the channel. Those are the ways to let us know that you like what we're doing, you want to see more of this, or that you just don't like me very much and you want to make sure I never show up on the channel again. That would be not liking and subscribing to the video would be a pretty good way to make sure that doesn't happen. So anyway, let's head on over to Pixelborn and see how this deck performs. All right, we go first. That is pretty important. So I think our hand is pretty cheap as is. I don't think we need 2 Befuddles. Honestly, when we're going first, they're not as good anyway. Maleficent's great. Aladdin, kind of underwhelming. Kind of want a little more top end here. I think I want to get rid of this Aladdin. Keep the 2 kill spells, keep the board wipe. The only thing I'm thinking of now is, do I want this Befuddle or not? I think I do. Just turn it into ink. Excuse me, I'll turn it into ink. And I think, oh, we found a shield. That's also ink fodder. Turn 2, we don't have a play. Turn 3 currently will be Maleficent. So I guess the question is just which one of these do we want in play on turn 2? It's probably Befuddle, if anything. So we'll ink the shield and reserve the right to Befuddle something. It's possible I just turn this into ink next turn. We'll see. Frying pan has been turned into ink. And here we are on our turn. We draw Elsa for turn. Nothing to Befuddle here. So next turn is going to be Maleficent. Then turn 4. It's really hard to speak about turn 4 because we don't know what we're going to draw here. Yeah, let's just send the Befuddle away. Kind of want impactful cards. I think the 1-drops in the deck are like incidentally useful, but like most often just good for being ink. 1 jump ahead. Okay, so they're ramping. And now we need to put something in our inkwell to be able to play the Maleficent this turn. I think I like inking the Aladdin, given that we drew another Maleficent. Let's see what we draw. We draw a Minnie Mouse. That will probably also turn into ink, but we'll see. Right now we have 6 cards in hand, but 3 of them cannot be turned into ink, which is a little awkward. Here's Kristoff. 3/3 quests for 2. We draw another board wipe. So this turn is like certainly play Maleficent, so let's see what we draw before we commit to what we ink. We find the Queen. Queen's good. Am I willing to quest with Maleficent to let Kristoff just eat her? I think the answer is no. And I think Minnie's going to get it. We'll just pass. Next turn, like, it's likely the Kristoff quests, and Maui will be able to come down next turn and eat him. Opponent inks a beast. And here's the other Maleficent. 3/4 quests for 2. So this is like blue-gray value cards. I definitely want to play Maui here and eat Kristoff. They haven't used removal yet, but they've also used all their mana every turn since we played something, so it could be that they're just trying to deploy their threats to the board. I don't want to throw the Queen out next turn. But I also, it's no better if I just turn her into ink, right? So let's exile this Maleficent and deploy Maui, kill Kristoff. And again, we're in the same position. We can quest with Maleficents here. That exposes them to get eaten by this one. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. The only thing we gain from doing that is the lore. And, like, I guess a turn of Maleficent, their Maleficent not questing. But I am not in the business of throwing away cardboard just yet. We also, we're 5 cards in hand, and we only have 1 inkable card. All right, Smash gets inked, which is interesting. So they had the option of smashing Maui and chose not to do it. Maybe they have another one. Yeah, okay. So they do deal with Maui. We find friends on the other side, which is a pretty great draw. Let's start there. And we'll sing it with Maleficent. We find 1 Maleficent begets another one. And now what? We have 6 mana this turn, or 6 ink this turn. We have a Dragonfire, but next turn could be, if we wanted it to be, a Be Prepared turn. However, we don't have to play Be Prepared yet. The problem is that our only alternative, really, is playing the Queen here. And playing the Queen on a turn where we expect Be Prepared to follow relatively shortly feels pretty bad. So I think I am just going to bite the bullet. I'll ink Elsa here and basically commit to Be Prepared coming soon. And I don't think I can just let them quest for 4 here, can I? I don't think so. I think I'm willing to spend a card here to just make their life harder. And I will quest with my own Maleficent here. Say go. Like, now at this point, if they want to eat it, that's fine. It's a turn of them not questing. Found another Maleficent. This is just a 3/6. That's a quest for 3. Just Maleficent Tribal over here. Both players. Welcome to all Maleficent all the time. So they quest up to 6. This is feeling okay. We find Jafar. I think Jafar is going to probably just get turned into ink here for Be Prepared. I don't really want to... Like, I'm certainly not doing it with the Queen. And I don't think I want to do it with the dragon either when I'm at 7 already. So I think Jafar is going to get inked. And we're just going to wipe this board. Could have doubled, like, traded both Maleficents for this one, but I don't think that leaves us in a great spot. So, sayonara to all these Maleficents. Let's see if they have more. Simba, Rightful Heir, and the Goons. So what do we got? What are these? During your turn, when this character banishes another character, you gain 1 lore. Meh. Goons is just a 2/2 for 1. I mean, it's pretty hard to believe the play here isn't just another Be Prepared, right? We exile the Pocket Watch, Be Prepared, and the next turn, if we draw an Ink spell, we can Maleficent, and if we... I guess we could even exile the Queen if we wanted to. Yeah. I suppose, actually, Elsa is also an option that I didn't consider. We could tap down both of these. It feels weird. What happens if I do that? It's very awkward in the face of my own Be Prepared. But I could actually be prepared for free with Elsa in play. That's not so bad. Let's do that. So either the opponent deploys more to the board, in which case I can be prepared and follow up with the Queen, which is great. Or they don't, and everything's fine. Like, if they don't do anything, then I'm actually winning this race. Coconut Basket. When you play a character, remove 2 damage. That card is not very good in this spot. So am I willing to throw my own Elsa under the bus here? Yeah, definitely, right? They have no cards in hand. Yeah. So we don't really want to... Yeah, we can't quest with Elsa if we want to do this for free, and I sure want to do this for free, so let's do that. And we can also just straight up play Maleficent if we want, but I think I'm just going to play the Queen out when I know that nothing bad can happen to her. And yeah, I'm just going to turn this Befuddle into ink. I guess I had no good reason to do that right now, because I'm definitely never turning this Maleficent into ink. Mufasa. Just a 4/6 for 6 that quests for 3. Sure. Let's draw off the Queen. Here's the Pocket Watch getting turned into ink, and this is over. The opponent doesn't know it yet, but it's over. There goes Mufasa. We're questing for what? 3 per turn now. Opponent's getting 1 card per turn. We're getting 2. Don't think the Goons is going to do it. Okay, so we draw a Magic Mirror. Yeah, nothing really matters at this point. Draw a card. Befuddle? Yeah, you know what? Befuddle actually does, like, protect. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Here, have your Goons back. That's fine. Maleficent quests. And I'll play Aladdin. And I'll play a Magic Mirror. And yeah. So like even if somehow the opponent wipes the board here, we have a Magic Mirror to refuel. So at best, even if the card they drew is board wipe, we are still in outstanding shape. And instead, it looks like they're gonna have to 2-for-1 themselves to. Oh, interesting. So they actually just damage Maleficent and don't do anything with it. Okay. I mean, I'm just going to quest. I'll draw off the Queen, I guess. Turn Minnie into ink food. Draw some cards. Play another Queen. Quest with Aladdin. Great stuff. Sure. So Goons trades with Maleficent. That is more than okay with me. Okay. So how much are we questing for here? This is 1, 2, 3, 4. To change the clock if I draw. 4, 13, 17. No, it doesn't. So let's draw. Don't think we'll be casting that one. Here's Elsa the first. Here's Elsa the second. Could even... Actually, this is more efficient, right? Aladdin just eats grandma and drains. I'll draw a card. One jump ahead. Yeah, the problem with ramp decks in general is if you draw the ramp pieces late, they're terrible top decks and they don't achieve anything. So let's just do some questing. I don't know if this is lethal yet. It probably is. Not quite, I guess. Whatever. I guess if I find Aladdin here, it's just lethal on the spot. Oh well. No reason to deploy anything else to the board. If there is some random board wipe, Elsa's not going to make the difference, and I'd rather have her as a post-Wrath play, but I think this game is over. Yeah. Okay, the opponent finally agrees, played it all the way out. So, obviously, I think the difference in the power levels of the decks was evident there. The power level of our deck, just the card quality in it was much higher, and it showed. But we also were able to deal with a lot of their early questers as well. So even if it wasn't like an outstanding game of Lorcana, you at least see how the deck is meant to play out. And if you would like to see more, definitely let us know in the comments. We're still working on how the channel is supposed to flow, what kind of content you guys actually want to see, what kind of content that you don't. So again, if you want to see more of it, let us know in the comments, like and subscribe to the video, share it with your friends. Let me know decks that you'd like to see me play in the future, and I can help you work on improving your own decks if you join our Discord. All sorts of stuff that we're able to do for you, but we need your help to prioritize. So that's it for me. That's it for this video. I will see you guys, hopefully, in the next one. Stay in school.